2023 Rolex predictions. In today's video, I'm going to talk really about three models and I'm going to make my predictions for these three models. We're going to talk about the Explorer, the Submariner, and the Daytona. Why these three specific models? Well, because the Explorer is turning 70 this year, the Submariner is also turning 70 this year, and the Daytona is turning 60. So in an ideal world, I'd like to think that Rolex is going to do something special for these models in 2023. Now here's the thing, being a Rolex fan before Baselworld, in this case Watches and Wonders, is like being a Ferrari F1 team fan before the season starts. You're hopelessly optimistic. You know that it's probably not going to work out the way you wish it will work out, but you just can't help yourself because there is a chance. There is a chance that they're going to win, and there is a chance that Rolex is going to release something special. The way I'm going to make these predictions, I'm going to make kind of the wishful thinking prediction and then the more realistic prediction. So first, let's talk about the wishful thinking. Daytona hasn't been updated as a model for a long time. I think the last update was in 2016. So that's quite a few years. It stands to reason that maybe Rolex will actually update this model somewhat. Maybe something like a stainless steel bezel. That's one of the predictions that has been floating around the internet for a while now. To be honest, I myself personally am not a huge fan of that. I think the ceramic bezel Daytona looks better than the stainless steel Daytona, but hey, to each their own. So my hopeful prediction, my kind of wishful thinking prediction is the reissue of Paul Newman style Daytona. Pump pushers or maybe even screw down pushers, but that classic design with the panda dial, with the black bezel, make it pop, make it stand out, have that vintage reissue. Make it in 40 millimeters, make it in 39 millimeters. That's all we want as Rolex fans. If they actually did this, the internet would explode. A lot of people would be happy. I don't see anyone who could hate on that choice. But of course, we live in reality. So the more realistic prediction for this release is something to do probably with meteorite, something to do with precious metals, maybe a platinum Daytona with a meteorite. Rolex isn't really known to celebrate these big round birthdays for their models. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later when we talk about the Submariner and the Explorer. But really, we shouldn't get our hopes too high up, just like any Ferrari fan before the F1 season. Because realistically speaking, if they do anything special for this round birthday, it's probably going to be something to one of their more expensive models, like the Platinum Daytona, and it's probably going to be either a specialty dial collar or maybe a Meteorite Dial. In the past, Rolex did release a couple of Meteorite Dials on their watches, so that's what I'm expecting to see. Moving on, Submariner and the 55 Fathoms are the two watches responsible for diver watches as we know today. They kind of set the trend and the look for diver watches all the way to this day. Rolex Submariner is endlessly homaged. It's an iconic watch. In fact, if you are into watch collecting for more than, let's say, 5 to 6 years, you probably associate Submariner with Rolex brand. Submariner to Rolex is pretty much what iPhone is to Apple, is their bread and butter. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna see anything too crazy with this model. So my wishful thinking prediction would be something like a bluesy, so blue dial, blue bezel model in titanium. Imagine that. Imagine the comfort of Submariner in a light material. Wouldn't that be amazing? Rolex would just make a lot of people's dream come true. But again, we do live in reality, and actually Rolex has updated their Submariner model in 2020, so only 3 years ago. We shouldn't be expecting too many huge changes to this model line. They took it to a bit of a larger size now. They also updated the movement. So we shouldn't expect too much from this model. We're probably going to see something a little bit more high-end, more expensive, probably a platinum Submariner. Submariner has never been done in platinum, so I'm guessing they might take that step. I mean, why not? They've done other watches in platinum. Why not? The Submariner, they're going to keep the same 32-30 movement. They're going to keep the same case shape, the same bracelet, the same everything. They're probably just going to do it maybe with a new color variation. Probably not. Probably just a date in platinum. That's my prediction, the realistic prediction. Of course, I'd like to see the titanium one, but I don't think that's very realistic. Which brings us to the last model, the Explorer, also known as the Explorer 1, but technically is the Explorer because there is no Explorer 1, there's just Explorer and Explorer 2. I happen to own an Explorer. I also have a Submariner, so I do like these watches. I do like these models. The Explorer that I have is the 39mm version. So as we all know, in 2020, I believe, when they updated the Submariner, they also updated an Explorer and they downsized it to 36mm. Kind of a ballsy move if you think about it, because a lot of models are going upmarket, they're going upsized, 40, 41mm. The Explorer actually shrunk to the 36mm diameter, which a lot of watch enthusiasts were happy about. Just like with the Submariner, we shouldn't expect too many changes because they recently upgraded the movement, they also recently upgraded the size, and they added a two-tone version, which, by the way, I hate. I know I'm getting a lot of heat online because I like a two-tone Submariner, but I hate a two-tone Explorer. What's the difference? I don't know. I can't explain it. I just don't like it. So the wishful thinking part of fandom would hope for a polar white dial Explorer. They've done one in the past. It was very limited, difficult to find. But imagine that. Imagine a polar white dial Explorer in 36mm. It would be such a good throwback to the past. Rolex really does know how to make a good dial, and having a white glossy dial would look really sharp on the Explorer. Honestly, I'd still prefer the black dial version, but it's just nice to have that option, and I think it would be something that a lot of watch collectors are asking for. Unfortunately, once again, we live in reality. The white polar dial is very wishful thinking. What we will probably see is either nothing at all, honestly. They might just not do anything with the Explorer line of watches, which would be a little bit of a disappointment. Or once again, they might do something in the precious metal. Rolex is not afraid to make their sports models in purely precious metals. We do have a two-tone Explorer, a possibility of having a rose gold Explorer. Actually, that sounds pretty cool. I don't know why, but I think that wouldn't be too bad. Or an all yellow gold Explorer, I think is a pretty real possibility, and I've seen this rumor floating around the internet. I'm not the only one. Again, it's all rumors right now, right? We're all speculating. No one knows for sure. Chances are, if they do upgrade the Explorer, they will probably upgrade it to a precious metal. Keep the same case size, keep the same bracelet, keep the same movement, just add an additional expensive precious metal version, like all gold, either white or yellow gold Explorer. Those were my predictions. Leave your predictions in a comment section below. Let me know what you think Rolex will do this year with their model lineup, especially these three models, the Explorer, the Daytona, and the Submariner. Now, I know what you're gonna say, hey, there's no reason to speculate, we won't be able to buy these watches from the ADs anyways. Yes, I agree with that. I mean, Rolex really needs to work on proper distribution of their watches and increasing that supply chain issue. That's another video, that's another topic. I'm just glad that these things still exist. As a watch collector, I'm kind of happy to still be excited about a new release, even though I'm probably not going to buy any of these watches because, first of all, financially it's very difficult, but secondly, you don't need to own every watch. You don't need to buy every watch to enjoy it. So I'm glad that I'm still excited about it. I'm glad that I'm able to make videos like this about it, but I want to know what you think. So leave your comments in a comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye.